everyone. So today I really want to talk about my first week with The Artist's Way. Chapter 1 is called Recovering a Sense of Safety. A few things. So each week you have your morning pages, which is basically just writing in the morning, each morning. Storage low, top to manage. You basically just journal in the morning. And just continually, whatever comes to mind, you just write it down. Not much thinking about it. Another thing you're supposed to do weekly is an artist date. It's basically a date with like your inner child. And I do have to say, if I hadn't been in therapy prior, a lot of this stuff would not make sense to me. It would not resonate with me. I don't think it would have an impact at all. In therapy, I did a lot of like inner child work with my therapist, and even the introduction into that was, it was really slow. It took a long time for me to even be comfortable with exploring that and understanding what that was. And so far, even in week 1, it's a lot of that inner child work, connecting with your inner artist. In the book, she says that, your inner artist, your inner creative is a child. So you really have to be comfortable being vulnerable and communicating with these child versions of yourself. So I started week 1 on Sunday last week. It's now Wednesday. I'm having trouble moving on to week 2, and I'm figuring out why. So week 1 is all about finding out the negative voices in your head, what they're saying, where they come from. The book calls them blurbs, but it's basically trying to figure out what is kind of blocking you from your creativity or finding out who you are, what is stopping you from achieving your dreams. So you're just looking to identify, and there's tasks you can do to kind of identify these negative voices in your head. I'm hesitant to move on to week 2. I was supposed to move on a few days ago. I haven't yet. And I'm realizing that it's because I feel like I haven't perfected week 1, and I feel like I can't move on to week 2 until I perfect week 1. If I move on without perfecting week 1, then week 2 is going to be a failure, week 3 is going to be a failure. I'm not going to have that foundation from week 1, and then I'm not going to become successful. I'm going to fail, and I'm not going to get what I'm supposed to get out of this. And I've noticed that comes up in a lot of things I do, not just this book, but anything, like jobs, careers, any other projects I have. I get to a point and then I stop. I can't move on. I stick back to whatever I was working on before. I won't move on because I feel like I don't have that foundation good enough yet. I need to keep going over that foundation again and again and again until it's perfected. And in my mind, perfection would be, I have a clear mind, no clutter. It's like, I just imagine it like clear, like a big white empty room with nothing in it. And that's, if my mind is that, and I can clearly lay out everything from whatever, from the foundation that I'm supposed to have, then I can move on. But if I'm honest with myself, even if that happened, I would still say I'm not ready to move on. I can't move on yet. So this is one of those things that keeps stopping me. Found it out in week 1. So I'm gonna have to address this. Figure out where it's coming from, when it started, what happened in my childhood that led me to behave like this, or develop this thing that kind of stops me from moving forward. So I need to figure that out. But I'm going to move on to week 2. I'm going to start reading week 2 tonight. I'm just moving forward. I have to do it. And throughout the whole book, you kind of come back to these negative thoughts and you continue to work on them. So I just need to get over that fear of whatever. And I'll figure it out as I go along. It seems like it kind of builds on itself from what I've seen. Yeah, they have, she has a list of tasks at the end of each week, several tasks that you can do. I did not get to all of them, but I do want to continue to do them throughout the rest of the week when I have time. I've realized I need to give this a lot more time, like 2 to 3 hours, probably like 2 hours a day, honestly. I need to start giving this if I want to actually learn and grow from it. It's for myself. All of this is for myself, to learn about myself and to really connect with that inner voice of creativity that I'm looking for. Other things from the week 1 check-in. So yeah, we have these morning pages. You have to write, every morning you write a few pages. Oh, my cat. She's running around. We write a few pages in the morning pages. I did about 5 out of the 7 days. I need to do it more. I need to do it every day. Everything I see online, people are just just going on and on about these morning pages, how they've changed their life. Hold on, my cat. My cat. So really, I just need to do them, and I think it will have an impact on me. But I did them about 5 of the 7 days. You're supposed to do them just right when you wake up. Some mornings I just don't feel like it, and that's what's stopping me from doing it. And I just need to stop doing that, because that's another thing that's blocking me from getting in touch with this creativity, this creative voice that I'm looking for. Is that sometimes in just the moment I just don't feel like it, and I'm like, okay, then I guess I won't, even though it's like good for me. I convince myself I'm doing self-care by not doing it, but self-care is actually making myself do that thing that I don't want to do because it's good for me. Earlier this week I wrote that I feel like this week is really important, so I'm gonna take a few extra days to do some of the tasks and reread some stuff. Yeah, and I did feel like that earlier in the week. I felt like, yeah, this week is really, really important. I need to master this before moving on. But now I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, I finished this task. I'm really putting a lot of effort into this. I need to move on. It's time to move on. And still there's that voice that's like, no, we need to do it more. We need to perfect it. We need it better. So I'm gonna move on, and we'll keep addressing that. So yeah, I do like working on it though. I got another journal to write the tasks in, and there's a lot of good information in here. I did underline some really good things that I liked. I'll read a couple if I can find them here. Here, this is relevant to kind of what I've been experiencing. We are victims of our own internalized perfectionist, a nasty internal and eternal critic, the censor. So that's what they call this negative thoughts. And those blocks that we have, they call it the censor. She calls it the censor. The censor resides in our left brain and keeps a constant stream of subversive remarks that are often disguised as truth. Yeah. So yeah, week 1 is all about finding things that the censor says and just kind of calling it out, and then figuring out what happened in your childhood that maybe led you to believe those things about yourself, or whose voice that is that's saying particular things. And the point of a lot of these things, it says, so the point is to stop taking the censor as the voice of reason and learn to hear it for the blocking device that it is. And see, I think this is so important. This is very, this is, see, this is a very important chapter, I feel like. It says, listen to your censor, and it will tell you that everything original is wrong, dangerous, or rotten. It talks about the logic brain versus the artist brain, and it says the logic brain is our censor. The artist brain, I believe it says, is the one connected to our child, a child's self. Yeah, here. Artist brain is our inventor, our child, our very own personal absent-minded professor. This is something I liked. Much fear of our own creativity is the fear of the unknown. Select, it says, remember that in order to recover as an artist, you must be willing to be a bad artist. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Here, there will be many times when we won't look good to ourselves or anyone else. We need to stop demanding that we do. It is impossible to get better and look good at the same time. I like that. Yeah, it just really addresses those negative core beliefs that we have about ourselves and also about being an artist. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in like I grew up in a really small town. And there's always this negative idea about doing something creative or artistic or wanting to follow non-traditional paths. It talks about how core negative beliefs keep you scared, and that prevents us from being an artist. Okay, my phone is about to turn off because I'm about out of storage. I think I'm gonna add some more notes later. There's more I want to talk about week 1. If I don't get to it though, I'm gonna provide an update on week 2 when I get done with week 2. If anyone else is doing the artist way right now, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what week you're on. I'm so excited for us all to be artists, real professional artists. Okay, bye.